Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you a book tag, and it is the cocktail book tag. And I was tagged by Lindsey from The Wandering Reader, and she also is the creator of this tag. So thank you, Lindsey. This is a really fun one, perfect for summer. So I will link her original video down below if you want to check it out. But other than that, let's go ahead and get right into it. So question one is Sex on the Beach, aka a steamy book, and for that I chose You by Carolyn Kepnes. And I know people are probably thinking, Vicky, this is a book about a stalker, stalking a girl. It's kind of creepy. Why would you think it's steamy? But despite being disturbing and a bit creepy, it is also very sexually charged, I will say. And there are some steamier bits in this book. It's definitely not what you would classically call like a steamy novel, but it definitely has those bits in it. And to be honest, I don't really read a lot of steamy novels, so this one popped into my head, and so I'm going with it. Question two is Bloody Mary, a book with a killer twist, and for that I had to go with Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. It's awesome too because I've been watching the HBO series and it's really good. But anyways, I chose this book because it has two twists in it, really. And both of them, like, knocked me on my butt. I just didn't see them coming. Fantastic. Gillian Flynn is just fantastic. And though Dark Places is my favorite Gillian Flynn book, this one is a very close second. I really enjoyed this book. And yeah, great. Question three is Pina Colada, a book with a tropical or exotic setting. And to be honest, I had it was a little bit of a challenge trying to find a book for this because I don't read a lot of books that take place in tropical or exotic settings. I just don't. But I did find one, and I chose The Rum Diary by Hunter S. Thompson. This takes place in San Juan, Puerto Rico in the 1950s. And I believe it's in like a kind of resort vacation-y type area. And it's a lot of fun, and it's just kind of crazy. Typical Hunter S. Thompson stuff. Question four is Cosmopolitan, a book with a sophisticated character. And when I think sophisticated, I often think of this person. I don't have any of the books that he's in, though. I don't own them on my shelves, but I have read one or two. That character is Hannibal Lecter. Now I know, he's insane. And yeah, he's insane. But there's something about him, the way he talks, the fact that he's educated, his fancy tastes, despite being who he is and being a prisoner and all of that. He's one of those characters that you are drawn to and that you can't help but like, even though he is pretty much a terrible person. Question five is Manhattan, a book that left a bad or bitter taste in your mouth. And for that, I am going with On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I was really excited to read this book because I thought it would just totally, I just thought I would totally identify with it and love it, because I am a bit, I like the bohemian kinds of lifestyle and the hippies. I feel like if I had been born in the, and grown up in the 60s, I may have been a hippie for a little bit there. And so this story is about the beatniks, who were basically like the first hippies. They came in like the 40s and 50s, like before the hippies, the whole hippie movement started. And so I was really excited to read this. However, I didn't like it that much. I liked the idea of it because a lot of the book is them like road tripping, like just jumping in the car and like they're in, they'll be in like Boston, or let's just say Boston, and they're like, let's just drive to California. So they just jump in the car and they drive all the way across the country. And to me, I'm like, that's just so spontaneous and so crazy, and something that I think everyone has at one time in their life wanted to do. But my problem with this was the characters. They were so self-involved and just, they did really like irresponsible and like hurtful things to other people. They were just completely irresponsible. I just didn't like the characters. So I really enjoyed Jack Kerouac's writing. I thought it was very poetic almost, and almost like it's one of those books that you almost feel like you could like listen to like almost like jazz music or something. It kind of just had that kind of bluesy, jazzy kind of vibe. His writing did, but I just did not like his character. So this book was a disappointment and definitely left a bitter taste in my mouth. Question 6 is a frozen strawberry daiquiri or a book to chill out to. And I had a hard time thinking of one for this too because I don't read a lot of books that are like chill out kind of books. They're always like high paced, like high anxiety, like thriller or horror novels. Even a lot of the contemporary stuff I read tends to be kind of like depressing and stuff, and not something you would like want to relax and read. So the book I came up with was The Princess Bride by William Golding, and it's because that book is just such a joy. I've seen the movie tons of times, and I've only read the book once, but it's just like the movie. And it's just one of those books that I could totally like go to a park or go to a beach and just open and just read and just enjoy myself because I just love the story. It's so like adventurous and everything, but carefree and like funny and also like heartfelt. It's just a great story and one that kind of gives me chill vibes. Question 7 is Espresso Martini, a book that you read late into the night, and for that I chose Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This was, when I read this book a couple of years ago, I couldn't put it down. I remember I was working then, and I had to I was like, I have to go to bed, but I want to keep reading this book, and I just stayed up and just like read the book and finished the book. It was so good. Such a page turner. And it also has like, I don't want to say it's scary, but it's intense. There's a specific section towards like probably the later third to 2/3 of the book that is super intense, and you're just like, you just got to get through it. You just got to read it. And yeah, this book definitely kept me up because it just was like unputdownable. Loved it. Yeah. Question 8 is Cuba Libre or favorite modern classic, and for that I have to go with To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I just love this book. I've read it a couple of times now. It's just one of those books that just touched me on so many levels. I absolutely love Scout as a narrator. She's so innocent, and just the way that she sees the world and these very complex and mature adult kinds of things that are going on around her, that you're seeing all of this happening through her eyes, her little innocent eyes. I just love that, that she was a tomboy, she hated wearing dresses and all of that. Like, I just totally identified with her. And obviously I also just love Atticus Finch. He was just such a wonderful character as well. This is a book that like I will recommend to anyone to read. Even like people where I'm like, even if you don't like classics, like read this one. Like, it's so good. Read it, read it, read it. And then question 9 is to suggest your own cocktail and to make up an appropriate question. So I'm not real familiar with cocktails because I mean I drink, but I'm mostly like, I'll drink like wine, or I'll drink like a vodka and Sprite or something. Like, I don't really know cocktails. But I'm going to go with, for this question, Long Island iced tea. And the question is a book that'll mess you up, because we all know Long Islands are dangerous because they got all kinds of stuff going on in there. And if you have too many, whew, you're in trouble, and it doesn't take much, at least for me. So, a book that messed you, or a book that will mess you up or mess you up, and that can be kind of open to interpretation. But for that question, the book that I chose is Story of the Eye by Georgia Bataille. And this is a book that was written in 1928, and it was written to shock. That was like its sole purpose, and it does. It is quite the effed up story. It's about these two young people and this, let's just call it an adventure that they go on, full of like violence and sex, and both graphically depicted. I believe this book was banned for a while. It's one of those books that's just, it's it's disturbing, but it's fascinating at the same time. But you leave the book like, what did I just read? And so, yes, I would say pick this up if you want to be disturbed. Because you're in for a ride. Let's just say that. You're in for a ride. And then the last question is to tag some people. So I'm going to tag Shaun over at Eclectic Reads, Alex at Hey Little Thrifter, and Lindsey over at Lindsey's Little Library. So have fun doing the tag, and also if you want to do the tag, do the tag. It's fun. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and thank you again to Lindsey from The Wandering Reader for creating this tag and for tagging me, because it was fun. And that's all I have. So I will talk to you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!